This is part two of the Talking Guys. Some technical difficulties. So you guys are getting an extra dose of us today. Please
Yeah, with
enjoy as we
Lucky
continue
you
talking about um, things.
and stuff.
about passing on generational wealth and how if I was somebody who was rich, I would just throw all of my money away when I died. Just give it to other things and say, "Kids, you're on your own." I'm
That'll
not
teach
I'm
them.
not I'm not
If
passing them on anything. I'll give them a good education, maybe their
And
first car,
$200 each.
if I was
you
a
know,
billionaire,
maybe pay for insurance or something, a phone bill. But once I die, it's all cut off. You're on your own.
if I was a
Figure it
billionaire
out.
and I was getting close towards the end of my life, I would buy a television company
No, no.
and I then would invest in a Hunger Games style elimination to the death. Winner gets the rest of the money, but you have to buy the television station so you can broadcast it to the world, right? That's what I'm gonna do.
I
That's what
don't think that's
all
how
of my
it
money is
works.
gonna go. All of it's gonna go to that. The
You
acquisition
you
of
can't just
maybe
buy a television company and
I
then put
can
something
too.
that
NBC's like, hey, you got some money? I'm
literally
like, yes.
murdering people in real life and put it on the show, and they're just gonna let you do it.
I
That's not
mean,
how.
Hey, I'm rich and I'm dying, so I'm pretty sure I can get away with whatever I want.
yeah,
But yeah,
yep.
Hunger Games style. Everybody gets flown in, kind of like a Fortnite or an Apex or whatever it is, right? And
Pushed out of a battle bus.
yeah, exactly. Why
Pull
not?
your
Why not
chute.
have an actual Fortnite? There we go. And whoever wins, it's a fight to the death, and you get whatever is left of the money. Hint and spoiler: there's probably not a lot left after the acquisition from like NBC because they probably took like 3/4 of the money, and that battle bus ain't cheap. But the people that are participating don't have to know that.
It's like
And
they
it's one
get they
last.
get to
It's
they
one
get to the
last.
end. It's like $3,000.
Yeah.
Hell.
Yeah. You could probably do it with just a bunch of inmates, like people that
Whoa,
are
no,
in
no,
now,
prison
no.
for
now,
life.
now we're just playing gamer. So
Hey,
Yeah.
you
Plus,
know.
that's so terrible. What let just because somebody commits a crime doesn't mean they deserve to die, dude.
Oh
All
no,
right.
this is all voluntary. It's not that you are being forced to participate.
yeah, if
It's
you
all
if
on a
you win
voluntary
if you
basis.
win, you get released with three
Well,
thousand
there's a,
dollars.
a chance you may get released. Yeah, you have a higher chance of being released than if you weren't to participate in the first place, though.
There's
Because
a
then you're just sitting in the
chance.
cell watching it on the television, right? Cells have televisions, don't they?
Of course, this is
I
Sweden.
mean, the modern American prison system. I think the inmates have televisions in
Yeah,
their cells,
and Xbox
except for
X's.
Jeffrey Epstein.
He had other things to play with.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I would do with my money is I would just create a world scavenger hunt, just a huge one, and anyone who finishes it off gets it. You know, all around
Oh
the
wow.
world. Like,
You're so clever. That's an original idea too. I
yep,
see.
it is.
Cool.
But this will be in the
Where did
real.
that
This will be
come
in the
from?
real
Like
world, so people will really fight each other for it.
straight off the smart train, you were
Yeah,
just
I'm
like,
I'm
boom,
basically a
this is a good idea.
genius. So I'm actually gonna write a book. Give me a second.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it going to be called?
Player one is ready. I think it's a good
Wow.
name. Just came up with that one
Yeah.
too.
Why player one? What does that mean?
Because I'm just a pretty avid gamer. See, Nintendo 64 on shirt.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, it's just I wanted to incorporate gaming into it somehow. So yeah.
That is your real name Ben Gates?
Ben Gates.
Yeah, Ben Gates, Benjamin Gates. And do you travel around the U.S. in search of a national treasure?
Uh, no, I don't hold my searching to the U.S. So it's more like the worldly treasure.
Mm.
A lot of
Wow.
travel.
Oh jeez. I'm worried about a lot of stuff right now, and that's probably the worst idea I've ever heard. Might possibly be the dumbest thing I have ever heard.
Speaking of things you've heard, I want to get your all's opinion on something. Apparently, there was a guy in Washington State, and he was sentenced to another 25 years in prison because he murdered
Another.
the child rapist that had, I guess, molested his sister and raped her. Says
What?
Washington inmate was sentenced to another 25 years in prison for murdering his cellmate, who actually happened to be a convicted child sex offender and was the same man who raped his younger sister.
And he knew this?
He did, and then he had actually
How did
notified.
how did he get in as the cellmate? Can we just skip through this story? I just want to know how he made it to be the cellmate of the guy that, like, how did they let that happen?
At the end of it, it's just saying that the prison itself actually was unaware of the connection to
What the hell?
both the inmates,
So
and
like
Oh
what drove him
boy.
what drove him to actually murdering the guy is he kept bragging and going into detail at how he, I guess, raped children, and how he had photos and videos of him doing the stuff. He says it all built up, and he just couldn't take it anymore. He says he'd
Wait,
actually told the Department of Corrections multiple times he needed a new cellmate. However, though, they had no knowledge about the two's connection when they were placed together, which is now following an internal investigation. So, it says he beat him in the head 14 times. No, hit him in the face 14 times and stomped on his head at least 4 times before walking away.
I mean,
So,
I don't feel like that's overly vicious. That's
so
about
if
what I would have
either of
done in this
y'all,
situation.
because all three of us actually have younger sisters, and actually, as of last year, his sister is still a minor. It doesn't give the actual date of when the event had taken place years prior. But as of 2020, the man that his sister had happened, the events had happened to her, she is still a minor. So, with all three of us having younger sisters, if we were in this situation, would you have done something similar?
would not have requested a new cellmate or waited. You said he snapped. I don't know how long he was their cellmate. It would take me 10 seconds. Like, yep.
So
And I
the
and I
older
would have
gentleman,
enjoyed the rest of my time in prison.
the article stated that I guess the gentleman was serving a 43. He was 70 years old, serving a 43-year sentence for child molestation, child rape, child pornography, possession, that kind of thing. And the guy that killed him was serving, I guess, a couple-year prison sentence for joyriding and I think hitting a police officer with a car.
I kind of feel like this is a whole prison break scenario where a guy gets into prison on purpose. Like,
Maybe.
because he ended up in the same prison as the person who molested his sister.
Just
And
happened
you
to be
said
the
joyriding and stuff like that. That's a bullshit crime. Like he just I feel like he was trying to get into prison.
Yeah, so stolen weapon charges, I think he joyride, and then one article I read said that it was just a stolen car, and another one said it was a stolen police officer's vehicle. So I'm more inclined to believe it was a stolen
I
cop
feel like
car.
if it was a stolen cop car, that's also where he got the stolen weapons because
Probably because they were inside the car. Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like he put
But yeah, I'm in
himself
agreement with
prison.
you, Seth. I would have done the exact same thing if I had found out that that was the guy that had done it. Even if he, uh, well, I guess his sister's still alive, so that's a good thing. But I would have done the same thing if maybe he had killed a family member.
I mean, there'd been a great chance I would have done the same thing if it had nothing to do with my sister. Like
Mhm.
it would have been more of that building up. Like if he because you said he kept bragging about it and stuff, so it would have been like more building up for me. Like
But for 43 years,
like
it wasn't just the one incident. I mean, it's
yeah,
something that he had done
but
to
I
multiple
mean like
people.
even if like the situation didn't happen to my family at all, if I was just in the cell with this guy and he kept bragging about it, there's a chance I'd do it too. Like just
Yeah, that is one thing that I actually agree with the prison structure is there's no tolerance for chomos, child molesters. It's just it is agreed upon, regardless of what you've done, that if one of those felons is in there, then everyone takes a stand against it. 43 years for quite a lot of, I guess, records. You know, that's just, I don't know. I just,
Listen,
people that do that, and then people that abuse children, people that abuse animals, and people that abuse elderly, just no use for them all. Just you taking advantage of something or someone that is helpless, or has no ability to fight back. That's just, I mean,
Agree. I agree.
I'm
there
gonna.
there should be prisons specifically designed for that.
No,
And
no, no, no,
I'm
no,
all
no.
in favor of more torturing.
No.
You know,
Okay,
yeah.
that might be a you know,
I'm
quick
gonna
bullet,
take.
but
You know, in biblical times, they said eye for an eye. So maybe you get Big Bubba out there, and then he teaches this other guy, hey, this is the lesson you're gonna learn today, boy.
you're gonna learn to.
No, listen. I'm gonna take the fair, reasonable approach here. All right, because y'all are going way too extreme. Here's the deal. If you're a child molester or like a proven 100% proven like to be that kind of person, or an abuser that's abusing like children or something like that, or any of the things that Will really listed, there's only one option to have a better world, and that is you just kill them right
So
off the bat.
what you're telling me is we throw them in my Fortnite scenario.
You don't put them in prison. You don't let them live. You let it be known that if you're gonna do that kind of activity in my society, in our city, you're dead. Like, GG, it's over. There's nothing more for you. You're not gonna get to apologize to anybody. We're not gonna say sorry to your family. You're just gonna die. And I don't feel like that should be that at an extreme of a viewpoint, because we spend our money, because every single prisoner in the prison system in America is funded by tax dollars. $25,000 a year is spent incarcerating somebody per year per cellmate. So why would I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep a man in prison for 43 years that's a child molester? That's dumb. And I'm going to go as far as to say that even if the guy didn't know that that was the dude who molested his sister or whatever, he shouldn't go to jail for killing a dude that was a child molester
Well, he
and that
was
was
already,
bragging
I guess,
and
in
that was
prison.
bragging about it and wouldn't
It just
stop telling
added
him
to his sentence.
information in his thing. Yeah, no, he shouldn't have gotten added onto. The guy has no right to tell you about him being a sexual predator and what he did. So if he won't stop and they won't do anything about it, I mean, you only got one option, in my opinion. You kill him.
Yeah, there are a lot of things you can accidentally do. You can accidentally run someone over your car, or you can
No,
accidentally.
it wouldn't be accidental. I would just purposely do
No,
it.
no,
he's
no. I'm just
saying
saying
for,
though,
like, crimes,
regarding,
yeah.
yeah,
You can
well, just
accidentally do
regarding
things.
the level of crime, right? It's like there are so many things people go to prison for that are accidentals. You can't accidentally molest a child. That's something that is, it's just not like, oh, I tripped and
Premeditated.
then this happened. Just that doesn't. You go into it knowing full well this is what's going to happen. This is what my plan is.
Yeah. So I think the court systems are way too lenient to people that are like gross abusers of like law and order. Like, I'm not
But
talking about somebody that, like, you know, killed another gang member or something. I know that that's crazy, but it's like, you choose that life, okay, cool. And you're fighting somebody else that chose that life too, fine. But when you're like doing something that you're just like hurting people that don't want to be hurt, that don't have any involvement in what you're doing, like just like serial killers, uh, yeah, predators, abusers, people that like, abuse or kill their wives or something just because, they're an alcoholic and they just do it. People like that, I don't think you should leave them in prison. You should just get rid of them, remove them from
we need to
society.
bring back the gladiators, with the Roman Colosseum. get one of those modern day coliseums, and it's just you have a certain level. Every offense you go to prison for has like a level, right? So your top like 3 level 8, 9, and 10 offenders.
No, I don't want to. We
Throw
don't
throw
want a
them in a ring.
gladiator system.
Yeah, and maybe they're not fighting each other, but they're fighting giant lions or
Will,
gorillas, or put them in a pit with
listen.
sharks. How badass would that be?
With
And then
sharks.
have
No,
pay-per-view.
it wouldn't
People
be
would pay to-
cool. Why would I want to watch something
Why would you
kill
put them
another
in a
human
pit
being?
with sharks?
You don't want to see
No.
this chomo go up against a lion
I mean, I
and
think
see
you
who
can.
wins.
I think you can still be humane about it. It's like you're still ending their life. You're removing something that I guess most people value, life. You're taking the thing that they value most of all, which is being able to live life and like get enjoyment. You're removing that.
Well,
Like
one of the reasons they stopped
I don't
doing
think
the
you should
executions-
glorify killing people because that would probably have the exact opposite reaction long term of what you're wanting. It should just be like a silent, quick, no limelight, nothing. Guy's dead. Everybody knows he got killed, and this is why he got killed, or girl, and we move on. We
Patrick,
move on with the life.
a lot of people criticize the executions. And they say it's inhumane to do that to people.
No. See, I think that's what's wrong with our society nowadays. Is it's like, I do believe in like having, what do you call it, like mercy and giving people second chances. Like I do believe
For some
that, but
things.
there are some things that there's no coming back from once you've stepped over that line. You don't get a second chance after you murder 59 girls. You shouldn't you shouldn't go to prison and get to sit in prison the rest of your life. That's like doing an injustice to the 59 people that they murdered, like Ted Bundy or whatever. Like, how dare they put him in prison? Like, I don't think you should put somebody like that in prison. Like,
Well, this gentleman was serving a 46. He was 70 years old. He was serving a 46-year sentence.
we spent.
He won't
Dude,
survive
that's like
that.
$1 million we spent
If
housing and feeding somebody.
if he didn't, if he was
Medication
not
for him,
beaten
too,
to
at
death
that age.
by this guy, right? The rest of his life, he is in prison. You have multiple people that are serving multiple life sentences in prison with no chance of getting out. So why are they still in prison?
I don't know, but I feel like if you had harsher penalties for things that are really gross and disgusting, I feel like it would be a big turnoff to people to do them. That's all I'm
It would
saying.
de-incentivize people.
Yeah, but the thing is, we pat people on the wrist
Well,
so much.
so I mean, I'm gonna jump in here. So I don't think it would de-incentivize anybody. For like when we're talking like serial rapists, serial murderers, I don't think it would de-incentivize them. But that right there is the problem. There is no changing. They are who they are, and so like keeping them alive makes no sense because you won't reform them. Like some people, plenty of people can be reformed and put back into society. But
so many are
these
released
people
and
will
then
not
immediately go back to what they were doing.
These people will not ever be different. The only thing you get from keeping them alive is the chance that somehow they break out, or something like that happens, or
maybe they do terrible stuff to people that go to prison, and that turns them into even more effed up people that, in turn, when they finally get out of prison.
So I mean, but yeah, the fact that I don't think it would de-incentivize them at all is goes to show that it's a waste of time. You're not reforming anybody because they are wired that way. They've decided that this is what they enjoy doing, and that's what it is.
Yeah, well, we're all probably living in the Matrix anyways. I know Pat had actually had a topic we were going to talk about regarding everything being fictitious and this all being a computer program, right? If I had that right, Patrick, what do you got?
Yeah. So basically, I guess there's like this theory going around with like intellectuals and like smart people like Elon Musk, etc. So it's not from like goofballs.
Well,
It's from like
Elon Musk is kind of a
highly
goofball, but
educated
okay.
people or whatever. But yeah, of basically arguing that we all live in a simulation. and that as we increase in intelligence, right, we create our own simulations. So like video games and stuff. And the more real and in depth we create them, eventually we'll get to a point where we no longer can tell the difference between reality and like say living in a virtual video game or whatever. So there's like a theory that basically says that we as humans could literally be living in our own simulation, like we really are in a simulation. And that's why like when you take like highly hallucinogenic drugs and stuff that mess with your senses, that you'll see some like super crazy far out things that don't make sense, and the world around you shifts because we're all like stuck in a simulation. And this is all like, if we were able to break it, we would break out and be in a simulation, and people made a simulation for us to be in. So it's like this never ending thing of like the people creating the simulation are also in a simulation, and just keeps going back
I
and
mean,
back
yeah,
and back.
because if we create like an immersive VR and we get so into it that we start, not realizing that we're in it, then we're in our VR, we're probably gonna start, creating something else inside that. Interesting.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't
so it's
necessarily
like
know
this
if
actual idea, and I don't know,
Interesting.
but
I
I
don't
think it is interesting to think about.
I don't know if I believe all of that. I do believe we are going in a direction. It will be way, way more difficult to differentiate reality from fiction. I mean, just look out they call them deep fakes. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, right? Where it's, people have taken like people's faces and they've put them on people's bodies, um, and gathered voice sampling from speeches or movies, lines of dialogue, and they have stitched them together so seamlessly. It sounds like that person is saying this sentence. Um, and I feel like that's the direction we're moving. It's kind of scary because it's just how we're at a point where kind of it's like, okay, I can kind of believe this, but I still know it's not real because it's
Right.
not exactly perfect. With the human eye and the human brain, the biggest thing is, um, for an example, like CGI, right? When it's really, really bad, it's something we notice because it's like, okay, I can actually pull these apart and I can tell you this is real and this is fake. And CGI for the last 20 years has gotten really, really good to where a lot of it looks pretty realistic for the most part. Obviously, giant aliens and shark stuff like that isn't real because it's not something that could physically happen in the real world. And you're able to use that same way to distinguish between real and fake currently with these deep fakes. But in 20 years from now, you're going
I
to
just
have people that are able to piece together, and they're going to have public figures go on TV or wherever and say whatever they want. And then it's just like, okay, well, how do you know if that's real or not?
yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, we're getting to the point where eventually it will be incredibly difficult to distinguish whether or not something's authentic or it's fabricated.
Okay, okay. I just had this idea though, which it's still on the same line, but okay. You know how like they're saying that like you're in a simulation, and like, eventually our simulation, the one that we're currently in, we will get intelligent enough to create a new simulation, right? Where we like basically like create life. Maybe not the same kind of life, but like a video game or something, right? That like literally people just live in forever. Okay? But the reason we have like space and like black holes is because previous uh, simulations are caving and falling apart and dying, and so it creates black holes that eventually suck you in, because it's like, like you have electricity and you lose power here, and it's like a wave where you're losing power, but there's so many God, I can't even say the word. There's so many simulations out from where it started that it's like trying to catch up. So yeah,
So you're
that's
telling me
my-
those are the breaks in the
Yeah.
Matrix.
yeah. So like the black
Deja
holes
vu.
are like the beginning fractures of like your matrix falling apart, which means that like ones that are closer to you in the simulation chain are falling apart and fragmenting. And the more you start to see them in your universe, the closer you are to it being the end for that universe.
So what you're telling me is George Bush is the reason that Hurricane Katrina happened. He caused it.
is. Yep.
Okay.
What
George
an
W.
asshole.
We're actually I'm about to finish a book about that. I'm calling it 9/11/2001. It's going to be by Patrick King.
Okay, Patrick King, I like that.
Patrick King Jr. actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you telling
Check
me
it out.
that natural disasters are they glitches in the system?
No, they're just like something that whoever created our simulation, they
Because it's
decided
population control, right? That's what natural disaster is. It's population control, right?
It's also, just
giving a danger that you have
Yeah.
to avoid and like
and
survive.
see
Yeah,
how
it's giving
see
you
how
meaning.
our how we react to those things in the
Mhm.
simulation.
So with
Yep.
COVID-19 happening, I mean, are we close? Or is it just because we got too close to discovering something?
Well, see, here's the thing. COVID-19 was not written to the system. We are just at that level of dumb that we made it up.
That's why they call it a
ourselves.
virus.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
Illuminati.
We're at that level of dumb
And
right now.
and that's why something as dumb, right? Because technically viruses don't have brains, but isn't it weird how viruses can like warp and change and like become better to where they can like no longer be affected by the current things
You're
we
telling
have
me
to defend
when
against
they
them?
mutate?
So it's like, yeah, exactly. So it's like they're really like an intelligent life form that was created by another intelligent life form that's trying to like test us and make us, have to struggle more because it's becoming too easy.
Or it's just a bacteria that is
So was it really
changing.
Wuhan? Or like Will said, somebody just doctored all the facts up to make it look like it was Wuhan, but it was
Wait,
really
when did I say this?
It was really no, like how you can splice everything together? They can already do it, Will.
Oh, you're
They're
talking about the
20
deepfakes.
years ahead of you
With the
already.
deepfakes.
And they created this whole thing. So like our whole policymakers, all of the politicians, the Republicans, the liberals, were all freaking out about this. It's China's fault. It wasn't even China.
In China.
Who controls this?
It was who's controlling our simulation, and they were like, we're gonna put this virus in here, and then we're just gonna see what it does, like wreak havoc. Did you ever play Roller Coaster Tycoon?
I did.
It's like the same idea where you get a lot of people, your park becomes really popular, and what happens? Eventually, your destructive tendencies start coming out, and you're like, it would be funny to see if the lawnmower guy gets dropped in the water, what happens? And he's like, and you're like, okay, it would be cool to see if I could make a ride and then open the ride and shoot people off the roller coaster and blow them up.
I'm calling some people. I also, if nobody hears from me in the next 24 hours, send help.
Yeah, and you think about it, but
So you're
this
telling
is
me that
much more complicated than Roller Coaster
the
Tycoon.
virus was implemented by a adversary of the person that's created the simulation that we're currently in, right? Because
No,
that's the whole point. Is
you-
the virus is created by somebody that wants to sabotage someone else's work?
No, it's just created.
So are there other? So
listen,
we're in a multiverse, and there are
no,
other
no.
Earths of other simulations of other people that have had people create those simulations. So what you're telling me is God is essentially the developer of this simulation.
Yeah.
We're science projects at a science fair right now.
Right.
Okay.
A ninth grade science fair. That's what created us.
And that's why everybody like has this concept of like a god, right? And a lot of times it's like one singular form
They're
because
just a dev.
it's just one player
It's just a
playing.
dev.
This is
Yeah.
just one game of like millions of games going on. This is like, Sims 48,098
You mean
version
it's Sims
2.5.
2021?
Yeah, and so they're like, you know what? I don't like Will. I'm gonna kill his kid and see what happens to him. So they kill your kid in some like terrible accident, and then they're like, let's see if the family falls apart. Do they like come back? Do they rebound? Do they still fall in love? You know, what happens to their sex life?
So
Everything.
we're all just
They just
living in a
go in
giant.
depth and they just watch you and they watch your life crumble around you. It's like the best TV show because it's like real and you believe it's real. So like you get to see like the realest heartache.
We're all just living in the Truman Show, is what you're saying.
Yes, basically. Yep.
Then, if we're living in the Truman Show, how did we get to outer space?
Because the simulation's even bigger than the set they used. Because it's so much
Big
more
set.
advanced. But you don't know. How did we get to space? Have you been to space? How do you know it exists?
Only twice, but it was there.
How do you know? Hmm. We have proof of you going?
I got one of those penis rocket ships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know the one.
Is it used for something else?
Well, it's blue,
Well,
and it could be.
I prefer to not comment.
All right. Well, that's why he likes Conor McGregor so much. Funny you actually mentioned old video games, Patrick. Had either of y'all played an old video game called The Middle Earth 2? It was a game that came out in 2006.
Did you hear him, Patrick?
Yeah, no, you cut
The
out.
Lord.
Yeah, you cut out. Right when you said the game name, it's like, nope,
Oh,
censored.
wow. Okay, all right. So it was a game called The Lord of the Rings: The Battle for 2. It was a computer RTS game that came out in 2006.
So you did it again, but I know what most of what you said. You said Lord of the Rings,
The
the
Battle
Battle
for
for Middle Earth
Middle-earth.
2.
Battle for
2.
Middle Earth.
There were just
2.
a lot of spaces in there, so I thought I'd say it so everyone else can
Oh,
understand
okay.
it. But yes, I did play that. once.
I wonder.
So-
I didn't play it
I
very
wonder
long.
why the developer was bleeping
Yeah,
those
like,
words out, though. That's
I'm
actually.
kind of curious
interesting.
if my voice came through on that too.
Yeah.
So, game came out in 2006. I played it extensively as a teenager, 2006 through just about 2008, end of 2008. At first, I didn't play online. I just played against the computer. Had a blast. Really wanted to play Xbox Live. My parents said no. We don't want you talking to strangers.
Yeah.
So I said, okay,
Stranger
well, I'll go
danger.
play online and I'll just text strangers instead.
Fair.
And so graduated from playing against computers to playing against humans. Had a great time. That's actually the reason I know how to type on a is solely because of that game.
Really.
Yeah. And I
I
stopped
mean,
playing.
that's how I
typing
know to
classes.
type
I took
at
typing
all.
classes.
Yeah, I had
That's why I'm so
I
fast.
stopped playing back when I got Xbox Live because I had a lot of real friends that were playing Call of Duty 4 and Halo 3 at the time. So I jumped ship and went over there. And over the years, I had attempted to play it again, the game. And there were enormous amounts of compatibility issues with Windows 7. So I'd given up until the other day, late at night, and I was like, for whatever reason, I'm gonna try this again. So spent a couple hours. Eventually, actually got it working. Of all things, found some software that actually enabled the game to run without any hiccups. Played for a little bit, had a blast. But it's just one of those memories. Like as soon as the game started, you've got the title screen with the music that plays, like the intro cue card, and so that brought back memories as a kid, teenager playing. I on Fridays after school, all afternoon, all evening, and all night, I'd play until about 4 a.m. On Saturday morning. I'd go to bed, wake up at like 9:30, 10 a.m. Saturday morning, play all day. Did that for
Imagine
years,
what your
every week.
Imagine what your character feels like waking up every time you die and being like, I swear I just did all this, and then just like going through it all, dying
Your,
again.
your character.
Yeah, I swear I just did this. It's like deja vu over and over. You know?
Deja vu is a glitch in the
I wonder if
Matrix.
they would go. I wonder if they go insane eventually, and then they just replace that character, put a new one in, and when you play the game again, it's like, is it really the same one or is it a new one?
So I had checked online for the prices because I didn't remember having access to all the CDs because at one point I'd lost
What
them.
is CD?
Anyways, I had an expansion pack I played called Rise of the Witch King, and I was like, you know what? If I can't find my copy, I'll just buy it. Brand new on Amazon. That one copy is going $240.
What?
Yeah, well, it's because the game is actually still supported, unofficially at least. And with it no longer being in production, as of 15 or so years ago, the prices for it have gone up significantly. A used copy goes for $190 on Amazon.
That's dumb. You
Yeah,
sell
well,
yours?
I still have mine,
Sell
so
'em.
I
Sell
don't
'em.
have.
Sell them. It's not worth it, dude.
I give you $20 for them all. Right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
$20 right now.
so
Bitcoin.
a little bit of
20
nostalgia,
Bitcoin.
and that's exactly what I'm planning on doing after we film. Go and play all night tonight, sleep in tomorrow, and play all day tomorrow. I haven't touched the game in years,
Really?
but yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
hey, you do you.
Hey, I got 3 days off, so
Nice. I have.
yeah. So I just try to bring that up because this is kind of nostalgia, This is
I have to go to
Something
work too.
something I'd sunk a lot of time into. Anything that y'all had ever dedicated an enormous amount of time and then came back years later to replay.
Yeah, basketball.
I mean, he has a point there.
Okay.
I have done that many times. Lifting weights, I have put a lot of time into it and then quit for long times and then come back. Call of Duty.
Which
Played
one?
all of them, really. I mean, I put a lot of time into most of the Call of Duties that came out.
Yeah,
except
but I mean,
for-
like a more specific case.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what that is. Tattoos stuff.
Wow. No, not tattoos. You don't know who that is. You don't know who that is. Does
Oh, it's
that help at all?
she's from Avatar, right? She's the waterbender from Avatar, isn't she? Katara.
Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced.
It's Cloud.
I
Cloud
came
from
back-
Final Fantasy.
I came back from there, and I hadn't played it in forever. And when we moved here to Tennessee, I played it for like a whole week straight. But to be honest with you, I know this is going to kind of sound crazy, but there are very few things that, like, once I stop playing them, like after putting tons of time in, that I come back to them and necessarily like get into it again.
Like Puzzle and Dragons.
Like once I have that first initial like loss of the addiction, right? It rarely ever comes back, especially the same thing. Now, okay, like with Call of Duty, right? If I played, like, say I played a ton of MW2, I think I had like 42 days of playtime, which is insane, right? The next Call of Duty, I still played it a ton because it was like new. And even though it was the same kind of thing, it was different and it was fun. And so I had to relearn all the maps and relearn the different game types and how to play them. Because, even if you're playing Demolition, it's different on every game. Search and Destroy is different because the bomb sites are different. You have to learn so many different things. But I never am like, when I go back to COD 4 now, I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but I'm bored after like 30 minutes. Like, I'm good. I don't want to play this anymore. I like a new game because it presents new challenges that I've never experienced before. So it's hard. It's the same concept as like listening to the same book over and over. Like, I get why people do it, but for me, the greatest experience of every book is the first time you read it because you have no preconceptions, you don't know what to expect.
Oh, it's basically
and
like
even if-
sex.
Yeah, and even if you can guess
One and done.
the outcome,
One and done.
it's like, will it ever be as great as it was that first time? Probably not. That's not how.
Are we
sex
still
is.
talking?
don't
I was
know
there.
what
We still
kinda-
talking about books.
no, listen. I don't know what kind of sex you guys have been having in your life, but to me, I feel like it, at least in my experience, it progressively gets better unless you're just bad.
I wouldn't.
You'll
know.
have days.
I have no.
You'll have
experience,
days where you
so.
just like it wasn't the best, but like I feel like with the experience you get,
Hey, Ray,
and-
do you see a ring? I'm practicing abstinence, so
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know what you're talking
Cool,
about.
cool.
I-
But I mean, you get more skilled at it. So I feel like maybe eventually, if you get like master the art of it,
Wait, is there competitive sex?
probably.
All right. Yeah, a new
I mean,
life focus. New
actually,
life
okay,
focus.
if you no, listen. If you wanna get really in the nitty-gritty here,
I don't want to.
technically sex is a competition and it's whose willpower is stronger. So
I mean,
every
who
time
lasts
I
longer?
think you're
yeah,
doing it
so
wrong.
so every time you let your partner win by getting you to,
The finish
get to
line.
the end, you have become a loser and they're the winner. And that's why they love it so much because they're the winner.
So
Okay?
Seth,
So your whole
who wins?
goal
You or
if you're
McGregor?
having sex is to be like,
Well, we already know he loses way too often.
I will not be the loser. I'm the winner. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I'm win no matter what.
You sure that doesn't disappoint her at all?
I think you're
No.
doing it wrong.
Patrick, I feel like you're
No,
just,
because listen, how do you not understand this? It's a pretty simple
so you're,
concept.
you're telling me you never finished the
You're-
race.
No, listen,
I
you're trying to
refuse.
get them to finish first because you are the better person. You last longer, right? You're the dominant whatever, right? You're the winner. So you can go you could do whatever. You're the strongest in the building at everything that you do. You're the best. So they're like
Round.
trying to do
These
50
are
push-ups.
facts. Keep gassing me up.
They're trying to do 50 push-ups and they're not going to make it.
I can do
They're going to
51.
run out of energy at 27. But you're like, "Ah, man, I can go slow and I'm still at 27 and now 28, 29, 30." And whenever I
Speaking
feel
of-
like it, I'm just done doing my push-ups cuz I've already mastered it. You haven't obviously. And then, you're the winner.
Speaking of winners,
So when it
checking
comes to that,
the
you're trying to make them lose.
He's
and
India.
that's all that
the
matters.
Olympic
Yes.
medal count. I guess we actually came in first place.
I am super surprised right now.
Shocker.
I did not
Wow.
think that America competed best of any
And,
country. Oh wait, we do that every year. My bad.
Yeah,
So-
well, actually,
no,
for
wait. Don't tell me the rest. First off, I want to make a prediction. Okay? I'm going to predict the top 3 teams because I'm pretty sure this is how it happened. I'm just guessing, okay? And I'm going to give you logic for each of them. United States because they're the richest and they have way too much free time on their hands, so their athletes just like get paid lots of money to like work out all the time. Then you got China because they beat their people and forced them to work out all the time. So obviously to compete with America. And then it's the third place is usually wherever the host like games is being held. It's the team that's hosting it because since they have home field
Cheating.
advantage and they get to sleep at home and everything, and they have all these people that are rooting for them at home, they have like extra motivation, even more so than the other athletes.
they
so
still
they
get third
end up
place.
I want to say my
outperforming.
3 next before
Is
you.
that what?
retell
Am I
us.
right? Is that
No,
right?
I need to say
Okay,
my
so
3.
that's what. So
Here-
I'm saying it was U.S., China, Japan.
What you're saying? All right, here are
Okay.
my 3. So you got United States of America, U.S. of A. and America, the top 3.
Seth, you're close. Patrick, you have it right. U.S. had 39 gold, China had 38, and Japan had 27. However, though, two nights ago,
Googled
when I
that.
think it officially right before it officially ended, Japan actually had, or China actually had 2 more gold than the U.S. did. So I think the U.S. actually created 2 events that only they could compete in, and so by
Shooting.
default,
Marksmanship.
and no, 3 events because they were down 2. And so I'm pretty sure with the American money, they invented 3 new events that only they could compete in, thereby granting them gold by default.
Are you getting screenshots of this so that when we put that as the
Why?
title, it'll be clickbaity? Okay, everybody, 1, 2, 3. Oh, no? Okay, fine. Wow, don't flick me off.
I was rubbing
Yeah, it
my
was-
face.
It was a good idea, guys.
For the longest time, though, U.S. is either second or third. So right at the very end, somehow they came back to win 3 medals to push us to first. So
Look
So
at 'em
basically, what you're
go.
telling me is U.S. failed us miserably.
yeah,
this
because
year.
they were in first place for 1% of the race, and it was at the very end.
But in
Everyone likes
fairness-
a comeback story.
But in fairness, Simone Biles didn't compete, so we lost some gold medals right there. So
You got
Probably
bronze, I
one-
think.
We probably
yeah, she got bronze in one event. The last event she could compete in, she competed. But I did hear, guys, that all these people, which I was actually kind of upset about, because everybody was just like crapping her, like saying she was like anti-American, and I read all these articles about people like saying like how dare she like quit on her team and she's a quitter and a loser
got all
and
these
all this
overweight
crap.
Americans sitting on the couch complaining about
Exactly.
an athlete.
And then come to find out, her like super close aunt died like right before the games, like, and so she went in there and was like, I just can't concentrate. And so she was like, I'm gonna try, and that's why she stayed the whole time and like supported her teammates. And then she was finally like, all right, I want to try and do one of them. I feel like maybe I can do one of them, and she got bronze in that one.
Well,
So
of
all
the
these
last-
a-holes being like, she's anti-American, I can't believe it, she's such a loser.
Hang on, real quick. Are you telling me that Americans jumped to a conclusion without knowing all the facts and then blasted somebody on the internet?
Yeah.
Wow. There's a first for everything. All right.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Crazy.
fun fact for you guys, actually. I'll turn it into a game of trivia. You
Okay.
both get one
What
guess.
if I don't want to play trivia?
In the last 20
Then you
years,
lose
Okay.
4
the
times.
U.S.,
Mhm.
and this is only including the Summer Olympics, aka the one that actually matters.
Winter
The
Olympics
last
are the
20
best.
years,
That's not true. It's
I-
actually the opposite.
Winter
Winter
is
is
the
so much
best.
cooler.
Don't at me.
The only thing I like, the only three sports I like in Summer Olympics.
I'm going
and
to guess one of them.
Are the opening and closing
women's-
ceremonies?
Women's beach volleyball.
No, actually. Indoor women's beach volleyball. No, indoor women's volleyball, not beach volleyball.
Throw
Sorry.
some sand on the court.
Indoor women's volleyball. The 100-meter dash and the 200-meter dash, which technically those fall together,
They're so boring.
and swimming. Other than that, there is literally nothing I like seeing in the. But now in the
Yes.
winter,
well,
I mean,
there's
can we
marksmanship
just
now.
list off the fun stuff?
Snowboarding, like the half pipe snowboarding. Luge, that's fine. Curling,
Luge is
curling
sick.
is amazing, bro.
Curling is so cool.
Ice hockey.
Yep.
The slalom skiing is pretty fun to watch
Yeah,
because
dude,
it's
that thing
so
is sick.
fast paced. I mean,
When they jump, what is that one
Oh, the
called?
long
the
jump
high
thingy?
jumps,
Yeah.
the long jumps, like
they like lay
That's
down
a
flat with their
sport, isn't it?
skis.
Are they jumping with
Um,
skis or their feet?
Jumping with
figure
skis.
skating. I love the
Figure skating is super
I don't.
impressive.
It's fun to watch them
Super
like make the
impressive.
one mistake, and the people are like, "Oh Jesus,
How dare
it's
they
over.
do that?
It's over."
Did you
for
see?
her."
She untucked her arm by a centimeter. Did you see that?
Yeah. And then I mean, do we have to keep going on? Have we named like 58 ones that are cool?
All right, so the last 20 years of the
Yes.
Summer
Okay.
Olympics,
Uh-huh.
aka the original Olympics.
Okay. Yeah.
The ones that, were actually played in Athens.
That don't
Yeah, that's
matter.
because they didn't
Yeah,
have
okay.
winter in Athens. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. The original Olympics.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then Winter
the
Olympics
last
are
20
Olympics
years,
2.0.
Could you
US
just stop?
The U.S. has only lost once. What year was it?
For the Summer Olympics.
How
you're
often
saying.
are the Olympics?
It's every 4 years. So 2000, 04, 08, 12, 16, and then 20.
Wait.
Asterisk.
Yeah, because it wasn't 20, it was 21.
It's still advertised
It was
the 20
supposed to be
Olympics.
20 though.
So, question about that before we answer this. Will the next Olympics be 25 or will it be 24?
24, as far as I'm aware.
24.
Okay. Anyways,
All right. Ready for
Um,
my answer? You ready for my answer? I'm going to bet all my in-game points on 2004.
Once Patrick gives his answer, I will then actually
I-
tell you the winner, and then I'll let you decide whether or not you want to keep your pick.
in the last 20 years, right?
The last 20 years,
So does 2000 fall in that or no?
yes.
That 2000, 2004, 2008, 2016, 2020.
Well, technically it's
2012.
21.
20,
Technically it's
20.
21 today. Okay, fine. I think it was 2008.
All right, so you get to choose to lock in, or do you want me to tell you the winner, and then you get to revision?
What is that? How do I revise?
Your
You-
decision.
You mean the winner
Are you
of the
keeping-
Olympics?
If you're gonna give me the answer, how can
I'm
I
not giving the
revise?
answer. I know I'm going to tell you the winner of that year, and then I'll let you decide whether or not you want to keep your pick or choose another year. China won that year.
2016.
That's your new pick, Seth?
Yep.
Patrick, you locking in at,
I'm
you said
locked in.
8, right? Or do you want to change?
I don't support China. America. I'm sticking with 2008.
All right, final answer is 2008.
Sucks to suck, but I'm right.
It was the Beijing Olympics. And US, I think, had 36 or 35 golds, and China had like 51.
You know
Losers.
why? You know why I
Losers.
had no. You know why I chose that? I had no clue that was why. But the reason I chose it was because that was the housing bubble when it crashed, and I figured people were probably stressed out about the financial situation of America, and it was a recession and all that crap. So it was probably pretty negative. And I was like, if there's gonna be one year that they don't do good, maybe it'll be 2008.
I have one final question then for you guys.
Yes.
Out of the last 20 years,
Uh-huh.
what has been the most watched Olympics? Like,
Oh,
which is
2012. The one that was in Australia.
Australia?
The Sydney Olympics or whatever it was.
No, that was in London in 2012.
Was it?
Sydney, I think, was 2000 or 2004. Because it was what, 96 was, and then I think it was Sydney, and then Athens in 2004, Beijing in 2008, London in 2000, Rio de Janeiro in 2016.
Okay, so it was London. It was 2012. I already know this. It's 2012. I'm telling you right now.
No looking up.
I'm
The
not
answer,
looking it
Seth.
up.
No, Seth.
I was typing in chat. You saw it pop up.
Okay, yeah, now I got it.
Wait, what is that? What guess is that?
Only this dude dumb. This dude big dumb. Anyways, it was in. Oh, I can't say 2000 because I don't think they had TVs in 2000. So let's go with 2004.
Patrick
But-
is 2 for 2.
Seth, come on. Like, why won't you just follow me? I have this.
This is
I-
actually the last couple Olympics. The current one's actually the lowest watched.
It's because in 2012, that was the year that Michael Phelps went off, and wasn't that also the year that
Well, he
Usain
came back
Bolt-
because I
Usain Bolt
think he
won
started
like
him.
the world record for the 100-meter dash too?
I'm gonna
Like,
be
that
super
Olympics
honest.
was
I don't watch.
popping.
I don't watch the Summer Olympics at all.
Well,
Like,
I know
don't
Phelps
watch
had come
at
back
all.
because he got big, I think,
Like-
in 2008. But then he came back in 2012.
Yeah, and he
won a
did
lot.
better in 2008. He won the most that year. He had won like I think after the end of that, he had won like what 21 golds or something like
Well, they
that.
say he's the most decorated athlete of all time.
Yeah, he's a
but-
beast.
It's
I think
just
there
because he
should
puts on
be
a
an
lot of like
asterisk next
chains
to
and
his name.
bedazzlement. Very
because
decorated.
to me, swimming is the same thing.
And
And
wasn't like 2008, dude, there was a lot of like cool things that happened in 2012. I mean, that was a good year. Like it was exciting. I can't believe you didn't know that, Seth. I'm disappointed in you. I understand the first one.
Don't watch the Olympics like
I
at
don't
all.
think he should have all his medals. Hot take.
I the only Olympics I ever watch is winter, and the summer ones. If they're on a TV while I'm at a bar, I'll glance at it occasionally. That's the extent of my watching of the Olympics. I'm
couple.
not running, swimming. Those aren't things that I just enjoy watching people do.
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly, I
I will
Though-
say I am impressed by all these athletes. Like they do a great job. It's just not interesting to me. Like
I have watched the last 2008, 2012, and 16. I watched pretty extensively and I followed them. This one I honestly couldn't care less.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention on it at all. I don't know.
And I had a discussion with some friends recently, and I had stated, I was like, you know what? If I were an athlete, I'd be upset. Just just the restrictions. Because
Oh yeah. It was pretty lame.
with COVID,
Yeah.
just how locked down everything is. The political protesting, the pandemic, the fact that NBC is just blown coverage of the Olympics. They are advertising events and scores before they are aired. They are promoting the app that you have to pay for to watch, which is Peacock. And even then, it's only highlights. They are cutting out the feed, a live feed of a sport that's happening, of an event, to have you watch some American Idol style background with highlights and footage, the Olympian growing up, their backstory. And a lot of people have just been turned off because of that. And I feel like if this was your time to shine, because a lot of elite Olympians don't get to go back. There's very few that get to compete in multiple Olympics.
Well, you know what I say to that, right?
What?
If you're a loser, you don't deserve to be back. The American way. We don't
Anyways.
accept the losers coming to our Olympics and competing for us. We only want winners.
I don't have statistics to back any of it up, but I would say that probably 25% of the athletes return to the next Olympics. It could be a little bit more, it could be a little less. I just know that having watched it, there are very few repeats that go back. And it's just, I feel for a lot of the athletes because this is just, it's been received very poorly. The coverage of it's been poorly. The pandemic has ruined a lot of the hype, the celebrations, the just because they always go out. With watching the Olympics, it's always a big show. Opening, closing ceremonies have always been these big events, and it's just been kind of shadowed because of everything that's happening in the world.
Shocker. I mean, why are we shocked about this though? Like,
I'm not
we
shocked.
knew this was coming.
I said I feel for the athletes because
They had it. Listen, Will, I don't feel for them, and here's why. This is hot take number 2, coming straight from me, Nick Wright, and I'm gonna give you first off before I start the statement. LeBron James is the best player ever. Okay. Second off, they had
there's no
a year,
reason to be a part of this conversation
listen,
anymore.
They had a year extra with nobody bugging them to go and practice their hearts out to be the best they could. So if they couldn't compete after a year extra practice, 5 years of practice, they didn't deserve to be there.
I'm cutting you off
Or
right
win.
there. No, it is
Alright.
me because you're not even. That's not what Will's saying. He's not saying they don't deserve to be there or they're not competing their best. He's saying they have busted their ass to be here and the coverage isn't there. That's what he's saying.
Well,
Right.
it's just because it's always every 4 years.
It's all recorded. The coverage is there. I saw it all on YouTube. Okay. All right. Listen though.
You're not even listening anymore.
The
Patrick,
highlight of the
Patrick,
Olympics
my point
was
is
Kevin Hart and our boy Snoop Dogg giving
Do
their
not
coverage.
put him as my boy.
Pat, my point isn't the fact that these
Yes.
Olympics don't deserve to be there. It's the fact that this is literally for 99% of them. This is what they train their entire lives to go do, and it's always been hailed as one of the biggest celebrations every 4 years because the entire world competes. And the fact that you have all these factors that have added up to one of the least viewed Olympics since they started keeping numbers, right? Obviously, you can't, say the Olympics back in the 1930s were least okay. But I'm saying since it's been a nationally televised event where it's, global, where everyone is watching, it is just it's been marred, and it will be
It's
viewed as one of the it will be viewed in 20 years from now to be viewed as one of the most forgettable Olympics that no one just cares about because it's just it wasn't there.
What was it lamer? Yes. Because obviously you didn't have the hype because of the things. But they still had everything recorded. You still go down in history as getting your gold medal or whatever if you got it. It's still something to say that you achieved. And I don't think anybody, family members, friends, etc., or fans of the people that went and competed are like, oh my God, they're lesser because only 25 million people viewed this Olympics on TV in America when normally it was 50 million. Like, dude, there's videos of everything that was accomplished. Every single person that did good, silver, bronze, gold medals. You can go look at it all. It's there. It's probably there for eternity. People are going to have all the memories they need.
Pat, did
Even
you
if-
watch the 2012 Olympics?
I did, but I also live with my family and they
Did
had
you watch the 2016 Olympics?
sort of, not really.
Okay, did you watch it more than you watched the Olympics that are, or I guess just finished yesterday?
Probably on the same level. My reasoning being, I don't pay for cable. Cable's lame. I refuse. And they only show it on cable. And they technically don't because you can get the three major channels. But I don't got time to like figure out how to do the antenna thing on my TV. Screw that. I'll just watch Netflix.
TV does not have an antenna, but
Some
all right.
YouTube. Whatever. Some stuff like that. I just don't care. I really don't care. I've lost a lot of my interest in a lot of that. Although I still do participate in it. It's just like, if I have some other stuff, like if I could go hang out with friends and do something, whatever it is, then I'm not going to watch the football game. I'm not going to watch the Olympics, or whatever it is. If I could go do something like play a video game I'm really into, I'd rather do that than watch the Olympics or watch a football game or a basketball. The only time I watch anything nowadays is if I'm watching with friends for some reason.
You watch porn with friends?
So
That's
like
kinda weird.
Super Bowl, cool. You invite me to a Super Bowl party, I'll be there. And that's about it.
Hey, it's gonna be Tampa Bay and
I
Kansas
think-
City again.
Listen, I think this is where we end it.
Calling it.
Just saying that you should have worked harder to make it into the Olympics this year. Well, the fact that
2021
you didn't make
Super
it,
Bowl. KC and Tampa Bay
shame.
putting money on it.
Jeez.
You heard it here first.
Asher, please bet him. Please.
Oh, we've
bet
already
him
put
some
money on it.
Okay.
I have
As
never
long as-
lost a bet to him. I have won quite a lot of
Well,
money.
there's a time for everything,
So
William.
what you're saying is
there is.
because you've never lost a bet on him, so I can guarantee that that's going to be right no matter what. I should put money on it too.
No,
Nope,
Not at all.
I'm putting my life savings.
no,
Yep,
just
my
a
life savings.
just
I
a
could be
friendly
a,
wager between
I could be
Well,
a millionaire
what,
on
Will?
this. I'm doing it.
You know what,
between
Will?
compadres.
Nope,
What's
life
up?
savings.
I
Scott.
have never lost to you in fantasy football. How's that make you feel on a scale of 1 to 10?
Pat, I think you got lower than I did last year.
No, I won.
No,
You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Because we're living in a simulation, so none of it matters.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
No, this is
Maybe
real.
next year.
So,
All right. I'm good. I think we've said what we need to say here.
Yeah.
Lil D, had the worst hat. If people didn't figure it out, mine was the middle because native Texan, always cool. And then we got axe throwing over here, which is actually cool. So
Yeah,
Super
sure.
cool.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed our Jumbo episode. Hopefully, this will tide you over a bit, as the next week will actually be off.
that's
Remains
true.
TBD. Follow us on Facebook. Check out the tweets, and just we'll keep you informed there. So hope you've enjoyed listening to our antics. I guess we will see you guys when we see you guys. I'll have a different background. Patrick
I'll have the same
will
background.
have shaved his beard,
Yep.
and Seth will.
I don't shave my beard
Seth
until
will
November.
have a new tattoo.
Yeah.
Yep,
No,
coming out of his
he
ass.
will not.
This is
Nope.
the Talking Guys, episode 62. We'll see y'all when we see you
Peace.
guys.